And Biden, I think, is one of the his kind of mottos as a foreign policy president is that he likes to telegraph what he's doing to his adversary, so his adversary is never surprised by his actions. So it's clear, if you do this, Putin, you'll be on the receiving end of this sanctions package. And he likes to make it clear what he's not going to do as well, so that there's no risk of miscalculation. I think he's been criticized for that. People say, well, couldn't you have blustered a little bit more and threatened Putin with military action? And Biden's attitude is consistently, no, I don't want to make him think I'm about to do something which I'm not going to do. My credibility over the long run, even with somebody who I detest, rests on his trusting me to be a good faith actor. So when it comes time to negotiate a way out of this, he doesn't mistrust Biden.
Also, he isn't. People don't get jumpy.
So yeah, right. It's generally a good rule of thumb that you don't want the holder of the world's largest nuclear arsenal to be jumpy.
Okay, let me write that down. Otherwise, I'll forget it. Sure, shoot. The way he did this, that showed both sort of experience and a certain approach to foreign policy, and approach, including being calm, and also sort of announcing what our intelligence was on them, which that was unusual. I don't think I had seen that.
It's an interesting tactic because, first of all, the head of the CIA is William Burns, who had been ambassador to Russia and who is one of the most experienced American diplomats. And so you have this interesting confluence between diplomacy and intelligence where, at the risk of exposing our sources, and we have broadcast to the world, this is happening. We have good reason to believe this. And it was a risk, because what if it turned out that we were being played? What if it turned out that Russia, wasn't going to actually invade? We would look like fools, and the world wouldn't trust us. Or what if that ended up resulting in the assassination of the people who were our sources on the inside? That would have been tragic as well. And obviously, that intelligence wasn't fully trusted. The Ukrainians, for one, doubted what we were saying in the run up to the war. But I think in retrospect, it was really important because it bought space for the diplomatic program. So he announces that the invasion is imminent, and that's the thing that allows him to start to begin to pressure the Europeans to talk about sanctions, to think about sanctions.
I see.
And I think it plays a really important role in mobilizing what is a really incredible global response. To me, our strategy right now is basically to instigate a coup. I mean, that's what the sanction strategy is ultimately, whether we say it or not. It's regime change, because it's pretty clear at this stage that we've imposed the most incredible sanctions ever on Putin, and it hasn't changed his behavior in the least. And it doesn't feel like it's going to change his behavior in the short term. And the only way his behavior will change is if there is suddenly this wave of pressure, either from the elites. I mean, it would presumably come from the elites, or from the people themselves, or elites who felt pressured by the people. Right now, it's we need this economic pressure to culminate in in political pressure on Putin that presumably could ultimately have the effect of knocking the guy out of power. But it's, there's nothing that we're seeing right now that suggests that that's imminent. But I got to imagine that if you think about this reverse Iron Curtain, so you have where it's not, I guess it is an Iron Curtain, where you have generations of you've Russians who've lived their whole lives kind of enjoying technology, enjoying Starbucks, enjoying like the fruits of globalization, and then overnight it's been stripped away from them, and that's got to sting as just a psychological matter, that the world hates you so much that it's decided to take away all these good things in life. We're hitting these oligarchs, and morally, that seems to me completely the correct thing to do. Let's take away their yachts. Parentheses, we haven't really hit them as hard as we could. I mean, the UK and even the United States has only gone after a relatively limited number of rich Russians at this
I
stage. And
also think that taking away your $1 billion yacht is bad. But if you have $1 billion yacht, you probably have a nice house
yes,
and a nice car
yes,
and a nice vacation house.
yes.
And so that isn't like that isn't the same as being a refugee, taking your little kids to Poland.
I think one of the things that's interesting to learn as this war goes on is the ways in which the United States anticipated that. And so we've been sending the arms that we were sending Ukraine in the weeks leading up to the invasion were the weaponry that they would need for close urban warfare.
Uh,
And you just know that that's something that could go on for a very long time, and it's gonna be horrible to watch. There, I said something really, really, really unobvious. It's gonna be horrible to watch, but it will
for some people,
be.
there are people who like to watch those things.
I think a lot of the foreign fighters who are attracted to a battle like this, or I mean, they're just people who are junkies for war. They're a lot of them are just thrill seekers. So I don't mean to romanticize them at all.
No, and I read an article about this where they were discouraging people who wanted to go there who would actually just get in the way.
But
You know,
there is a foreign legion that's forming with the support of the Ukrainian state.
okay. But like, if I have not had any combat
Yeah.
experience and I'm 70 years old, and all would be like, I'd be just going like, how do you do this?